We'll transition, man. Oh my goodness. We got Kanye West and the Drink Champs blowback, and everybody's talking about the interview. What are your thoughts?
Great interview, probably the best interview I've seen since Soldier Boy on the Breakfast Club, in my personal opinion. Uh, I mean, he touched on a lot of things. I think for people who aren't familiar with Kanye, we kind of got to see how his mind works in real time. He was jumping from topics kind of quickly, but that's the way that you know a visionary's mind works in a lot of times or a lot of situations. Sometimes it's hard, to explain and to actually put into words what you're thinking because your thoughts are moving so quickly and you're connecting thoughts as you know, continue on the stream of consciousness or whatever. So I thought it was a good interview. Some of the things that were said about Big Sean and Quali and a couple of other people I thought were, didn't have to be said and were unnecessary. But at the same time, this is Kanye West. He's been known for speaking his opinion and his mind throughout his career. So but I definitely think it was a big moment for Nori. I think Nori's price went up, and Drink Champs as a whole, their price went up as a result of this. And we'll see if we get any other Kanye interviews in the near future. I know he talked about Don the Deluxe album, so we'll see if that comes sometime soon. But all in all, I thought it was a really interesting interview.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, me and you probably had the podcast before the podcast because we kind of went back and forth on the text about it. I mean, look, man. I mean, I'm cool with everybody speaking their opinion, but I think the way Kanye has always spoken his opinion. I mean, there were times people would go to concerts and be frustrated because instead of having a concert, he's up there going on a rant or whatever. And I remember the Saturday Night Live performance. He went on this rant or whatever. So that's fine. If you want to speak your mind about Jay or whatever you feel, then Big Sean or Talib or Common or whoever, they're entitled to their opinion as well. Just because you get labeled as a genius, is Common not a genius? So it's like everybody is entitled to move however they want to move. And I just think to me personally, this is my opinion. I don't know what Big Sean and Kanye's relationship is like or whatever. I don't know if it just kind of ran its course and that's why Sean wants to start his own label. I don't know, but just for me personally, I just feel like if you're running for office and we're talking about, we're at a sensitive point in the country where people are losing jobs and homes and stuff like that. And people feel like that it felt like Trump was like toxic or whatever, and you're standing next to him, then why would Sean or Talib or Common not be entitled to their opinion? Now, on the flip side, I understand where Kanye is coming from as far as, African Americans sometimes kind of let the Democrat Party use them or whatever. So on the flip side, you could say, what makes Biden gonna do anything different or whatever. So I guess it just depends how you see it. But the point for me is everybody's entitled to say what they want to say. I don't think it makes them a demon because they had an opinion about Kanye or whatever. And for him to, go that far about, when he dies, I'm here because I signed Big Sean. That's too much, like if that's the case, Jay-Z could have said the same thing 40 times about him or whatever. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see the entire interview. I saw like certain pockets of it or whatever. I just don't have 2 hours to listen to Kanye talk or whatever.
Well, I mean, I think you should watch the whole interview, first off. But secondly, I mean, I see, as you said, I see Kanye's point in him saying, that he doesn't feel like Sean should speak negatively or should have spoken negatively on him in the media at that time. And when it comes to politics, people are entitled to their own opinion. I'll
Right.
never say that people shouldn't have their opinion,
Hmm.
but I do like it's different. There's a difference between having your opinion and voicing your opinion publicly in the media. You know, I think I made this analogy when we were talking on the text. It's one thing for Big Sean to get on his Twitter page and say, you know, I don't agree with Kanye West's political stance or whatever. And because at that point, there's only so many people who use Twitter. And even on Twitter, there's only so many people who follow Big Sean. When you go on to MSNBC and say that, that's a completely different story. Or when you go on to CNN and say that, it's a completely different story because of the platform and the amount of people who have access to it. So do I think that people are allowed to their opinion? Of course. Do I have a problem with Sean saying what he said? No. But do I understand why Kanye was upset? Yeah, I do. I get it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. And again, I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, okay, but for Sean, his mind, okay, you wearing the mega hat. So Sean has fans. So I mean, again, he may just not rock with that anyway. So it's like, it's one thing for you running for office, but he may just feel like you're doing too much. Like, hey, I gotta say something before you bring my brand down. Like, I want no parts of this. So I hear what you're saying about the whole I don't have to say it publicly, but you're gonna be asked publicly. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you don't have to. Again, why does he have to bite his tongue? But Kanye can just say whatever he wants to say or whatever. But again, I gave this analogy before. 50 Cent and Chamillionaire were friends, and 50 said something negative about Chamillionaire, and then when Chamillionaire saw him, he pulled 50 to the side and said, "What are you doing?" And 50 said, "I gave you a law that you didn't take advantage of. Had you, basically said something back, we both would be popping right now." So I don't know how much of this is just media press. Big Sean and Hit Boy got the EP out. Kanye is probably going to do a Donda Deluxe or whatever. So a lot of times just to get people to talk. I don't know how personal or how real some things really is to put a whole lot of stock into it. But just my personal opinion, from Taylor Swift to everything else that Kanye has had his opinions about, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Nobody should have to, tiptoe around just because you gave them a record deal. It's like, I mean, he's never bit his tongue about Jay at all.
I agree with that. But once again, my point is not that Big Sean shouldn't have an opinion. My point is that if you are actively doing business with this man, and he claims that Kanye West was his brother, they both claim that they're brothers. So if this is your brother and you're actively doing business with him, and you know this man is running for president, why would you say anything negative about him in the media? That's the only thing that I don't understand.
Okay.
You can have your own public opinion about him. Like I said, say it on your Twitter page, say it on your Instagram, your Facebook. Those are things. You got access to 1 million people. But you go on MSNBC, which is specifically deals in politics. You go on to CNN, which specifically deals with politics, and you say something about Kanye West and politics, and it's going to be used against him. You say it on Twitter, that's one thing. So, I can understand why Kanye was mad. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right, but let me ask you: isn't it hypocritical that you made a song called Big Brother talking about Jay-Z, and then you go on stage in one of his rants saying Jay-Z don't have me killed, I know you got money? Isn't that going to affect Jay-Z's business dealings? So it's like, it's just, to me, it's just being hypocritical. And then you got the whole I'm a Christian thing, and you're doing gospel and blah blah blah. So I don't know how much good of a look any of it came off anyway. As far as, oh yeah, I did like a group text with Jay and Big Sean and Kim Kardashian and Travis and Drake. And I said I'm worth more money than all y'all combined. But then you come out, when you came out the gate, had the All Falls Down, you rapping against materialism. So I'm confused. Like, if you're a Christian, and I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it's like all over the place, and it's like scatterbrain.
Well, okay, All Falls Down was on College Dropout, so that was a long time ago. Clearly, we're not dealing with the same level of person that we were dealing with when All South Down was out. As far as the things that he said about Jay, I mean, yeah, we know Kanye has been known to go on rants and to, you know, say things that are deemed as controversial or anything. So like I don't, you know, he's not doing anything new. This is all stuff that we've known him to do for a long time. So none of this surprises me. And as far as the interview goes, I think it was a great look for Kanye. When I saw the interview, it had been 13 hours and it had 1.6 million views. If I wanted to go and look at it again, I can imagine the views are probably triple that by now. So I think it was a great look for Kanye. I think it was a great look for Nori. And honestly, I think everybody who was mentioned in the interview got press. I seen Kweli on his Instagram page. You know, despite all the negative things he said about Kweli, he said that the Black Star album is the best album since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I went to Kweli's page and what do I see? Him promoting the Black Star album. So at the end of the day, like you said, whether this is a live or whether this is, you know, him speaking what he normally does, none of this surprises me.
Right.
So this is all what I expect from Kanye.
Yeah, it has to be that, because again, if Sean is a piece of crap for saying something, then you would be the same thing for talking about Jay, you know, like, but I don't know. I mean, these are rich people's problems, you know, God bless them, you know.
But here's the difference, because when Kanye goes on a 45-minute rant about Jay-Z at his concert, these are people who paid to come see Kanye West. Once again, we're talking about...
Those people weren't happy about it, though.
They might not have been happy, but once again, we're talking about going to a public platform, bills in politics, and speaking your voice and speaking your opinion about someone else's politics on that platform. That's a completely different story from going on a 45-minute rant at your concert or taking shots at Kweli and Big Sean on Drink Champ. It's different. It's not the same, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, to me, but again, I've seen radio interviews where he said stuff about people, so it's the same thing. I mean, I'm not saying Kanye shouldn't say what he wants to say. All I'm saying is don't try to hold Sean or anybody else to different rules. Just because you gave them a record deal, if that's the case, Jay-Z could say, hey, you shut your mouth. I signed you. You're being disloyal. You know, so it's like, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, it is what it is. But okay, now I'm thinking about like 50 and Buck or whoever. Like, just because you sign me, it doesn't mean that if you disrespect me, I don't have to, I can't fire back. You know, that's what I think.
And I don't feel like that's the point that I'm trying to get across. Maybe that's the way it's coming across, but that's not the point that I'm trying to get across. I don't have a problem with Big Sean having this opinion. If Big Sean want to go on Drink Champs and slam Kanye for 2 hours, I have no problem with
it. Nori invited him too.
And he's probably going to go do it.
Right.
But regardless, I have no problem with that. I have a problem with him. Like I said, it's the fact that we're talking about politics. If he wants to speak on his personal feelings as Kanye West as a man, then that's one thing. When we're talking about politics and we're talking about going to a public forum involving politics and speaking on someone else's politics, that's where I had the issue.
Okay, let me ask you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it wasn't even that Sean disagreed with Kanye's politics. I have no problem with Sean disagreeing with Kanye's politics. I don't like the fact that he did it on a public forum.
Okay.
Right? And being CNN, MSNBC, don't do it there. If you want to do it on Twitter, you want to do it on where you can control the narrative, then do it. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But don't do it in a public place on another forum where the narrative can be fun and controlled and then turn into something that wasn't even supposed to be.
Okay, now let's take your viewpoint right there. I'll apply that to Just Blaze. Now he went on that public platform and basically threw Just Blaze under the bus. Like, that's hypocritical. What did Just Blaze do? Why did he deserve that?
That's his opinion of Just Blaze. And if he feels that way, then who's to tell him he can't feel that way?
But I thought you just said that he just don't go on a public platform and say that. So why is he taking shots at Just Blaze?
This is the conversation is the fact that Kanye was running for president and we're talking about politics. This is not Just Blaze is not running for president. Just Blaze conversation is not about politics.
I think it's Kanye wants to control the narrative and basically control people is the problem.
I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion about it, bro. But like I said, I think the issue for me was that because it's the same thing when he talked about Common, when he talked about John Legend, all of those thoughts, the quality, all of those thoughts were within things that he didn't like that people said about him while he was running for president. I don't think Kanye has a problem with people talking about him, but I think Kanye felt like people that were close to him were used against him at a point when he could have made some traction when he was doing the running for president thing, and that hurt him in the long run. And I agree with him. I agree 100%
that hurt him.
Yes, that the things that Sean, the things that Kweli, and some of those people said about him were used against him. I 100% believe it. Yes.
Now, hold on. When you say hurt him, I mean hurt his feelings or hurt his chances of winning? Because I don't think he had no chance of winning.
He had no chances of winning, but it does not help your chances any when Fox News can run a clip of Kweli, the same dude that brought you into the music business, saying all of these things about you wearing a MAGA hat. And it doesn't help you when Big Sean, the same dude that you signed, CNN can run a whole package of Big Sean saying he don't agree with your politics. That's what I'm talking about.
But it's politics, though. Nobody's gonna agree. I'm sure we can find friends of Joe Biden who don't agree with him or whatever. That's the part of like Scarface is gonna go through this. It may be people who rock with him as far as his music, but don't agree with his political stances. That's politics, you know.
I have no problem with them not agreeing. I have a problem with them going to public forums that deal with politics and talking about him. If you have a problem with him, how he feels, say it on your own floor, in your own forum, in your own.
But Mike, what you're missing is though. But Kanye always goes on he goes on the radio and does the same thing though. You see what I'm saying? So why don't he just practice what he preaches and he keeps his mouth shut about other people?
We're not talking about politics. That's the difference. Like I said, I don't care what Kanye says about other people. I don't care what other people say about Kanye. We're talking about politics. That's the difference.
Okay. All right. Okay.